one of the areas I've been looking into is this whole, Enlightenment, and since the Enlightenment, Renaissance first, but then the Enlightenment, and how all of this, secular liberal modernity is shaping the way we see the world and see ourselves, and how it removes those basic questions that we ask, or removes answers to those questions. Who am I? Where have I come from? What am I? And where am I going? If you don't know the answers to these, then anything goes, basically. And then you get put in the position of playing God to answer these questions, and you create your own reality, you create your own meaning, you create your own morals. And when you get someone to taste that type of, divinity within themselves, or a false sense of divinity, it's hard to get that person now to go back to submitting to something higher than them. When they've...
It's while you were speaking, Nietzsche came in my head. Like, Nietzsche was quite inverted commas prophetic in that way.
Yeah. The gay science, he said, the madman.
Yeah. So, when he said God is dead, he didn't say God is dead ontologically.
Yeah.
Like his existence. He said God is dead in the hearts of humans.
Yeah. And
European
and
man.
he mentioned the implications of that as
yeah,
well.
which you have to become God yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he just said, where are you going to go? It's like unshackling the earth from its sun.
So,
Where's up, where's down, where's right, where's left. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he's getting at. And the madman is mentioning these things to the people in the parable. And then he realizes that the madman's come too soon. People at that time, they were so intoxicated with modernity and liberalism and being free from God that they weren't ready to understand the implications.
Didn't he go mad as well?
He did, yeah. Apparently he stroked the horse and he lost his mind.
The irony, bro.
Yeah. And that's why Iqbal said that if he lived at the time of Nietzsche, he would have become Muslim.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
Well, what's really funny? I had the dean of my philosophy department in Birkbeck College, University of London, was Professor Ken James. He was a scholar of Nietzsche, and he became a professor without writing a book.
Oh.
It's very hard in Britain to become a professor without writing a book, yeah? But he became a professor. Maybe he's written a book now, but he told me then he didn't write a book, but he was a professor of Nietzsche. I had dinner with him after my master's in philosophy because I wanted to thank him, because I got into the academic program through his discretion. I started with a postgraduate certificate in philosophy, then I did the MA, then MRes, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so he said, tell me about your story. We shared dinner together. It was really nice. And I told him about, Nietzsche said that the person was a successful Plato. Oh. He didn't know. I'll send it to you, and I'll send it to him an email. Nietzsche called the person a successful Plato, because Plato had this idea of philosopher kings. Yeah, he actually didn't like democracy because the mob could rule, like idiots could rule, which we have in the world, right? Yeah. He said we need people who are like, philosophers or good thinkers, moral, whatever the case may be, and they're the ones who should be leading. He called the person a successful Plato, which maybe he was indicating that. But I thought I'll share that with you because it's quite interesting.
We need to do another one of these, bro, and get into these topics.